And we pray, Almighty God, in your wisdom and goodness, have appointed the offices of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interest you've committed to our church. Amen. Sergeant Atam, could you please ring the quorum bell for the first 5 minutes, understanding order 32-2. Sergeant Atam, could you please ring the quorum bell for a further 5 minutes? Deputy Majority Leader, could you please, if you have quorum?
Speakers, I can authoritatively confirm that we have.
Mr. Clerk, please take us through the orders.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Third Assembly, fifth session, order paper number 425. Order number of Tuesday, 2nd June 2026 at 2:30 p.m. Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Order number 5, papers.
Yes, the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader. What is it?
Speaker, I rise pursuant to the provision of orders number 182, paragraph subsection 6 of the standing orders. I wish to table today, Tuesday, June, report of ad hoc committee of Kisumu County on source revenue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, members. Allow me to receive the report of the ad hoc committee on Kisumu County on source revenue. I direct that this report be scheduled for discussion in the floor. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Yes, the Honorable Patrice Lumumba.
Mr. Speaker, again I rise pursuant to the provision of orders number 45, subsection 1 of the standing orders. This assembly adopts the report of the ad hoc committee on Kisumu County on source revenue.
Next order, Mr.
Thank
Clerk.
you.
Order number 7, statements.
Yes, the Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, rise pursuant to orders number 41 2C. In my capacity as the County Assembly Majority Leader, to present and lay on the table of the County Assembly a statement informing the County Assembly of the business coming before the House in the following week. Honorable Speaker, this is therefore to bring to the attention of the members of the County Assembly that for the week commencing Wednesday, 3rd June 2026 to Tuesday, 9th June 2026, the Select Committee on Assembly House Business at its last meeting approved the following tentative businesses to appear in the order paper as follows. On Wednesday, 3rd June 2026 at 9:30 a.m., papers to be laid. The chairperson of Lands, Housing, Physical Planning and Urban Development, Honorable Atibo Iton, will table the report on the consideration of the City of Kisumu Charter. There is one notice of motion that will be given by Honorable Atibo Iton for the adoption of the report of the Committee on Lands, Housing, Physical Planning and Urban Development on the consideration of the City of Kisumu Charter. At commencement of business, Honorable Moses Ochele will move a motion regarding the approval of the motion on the matter of equipping community health promoters. On Wednesday, 3rd June 2026 at 2:30 p.m. at commencement of business, Honorable Lumba Wade will move a motion for the adoption of the report of the ad hoc committee on Kisumu County on source revenue. On Thursday, 4th June at 2:30 p.m. at commencement of business, the chairperson of the Public Investments and Accounts Committee, PICPAC, Honorable Kennedy Ouko, will move a motion for the adoption of the committee report on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Chulaimbo Level 4 Hospital for the financial year 2024-2025. Then on Tuesday, 9th June 2026 at 2:30 p.m., the statement will be given by the Majority Leader pursuant to orders number 41 2C regarding business for the week commencing Wednesday, 10th June 2026. At commencement of business, The chairperson of the Finance and ICT Committee, Honorable Karen Odhiambo, will move a motion for the adoption of the report on the review and examination of the annual report and financial statements of Kisumu County climate change for the period ended 30th June 2025. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Commencement of business. Order number 8, motion. Adoption of the report of Finance and ICT Committee on the review and examination of the annual reports and financial statements of Kisumu County Executive for the period ended 30th June 2025.
Yes, the Honorable Karen.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, this is a report on the review and examination of the County Executive Annual Financial Statements for the period ended June 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, pursuant to Section 164(4) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, the County Treasury is obligated to prepare and submit the County Executive Annual Financial Statements for the county government to the County Assembly not less than 3 months after the end of each financial year. In adherence to this legal framework, the CECM, Finance, Economic Planning, and ICT submitted the County Executive Annual Financial Statements for the county government for the financial year 2024-2025 to the County Assembly for the consideration. And this, you can check the main report, Annex 1. Accordingly, the report was duly tabled on the floor of the House on 10th September 2025 and committed to the Sectoral Committee on Finance and ICT for scrutiny in the line with the Standing Order number 193.5 and the second schedule. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, this report presents the county budget execution status covering the period 1st July 2024 to 30th June 2025, with comparative actual achievements and budget amounts for the previous financial year. Also included in the report are the annual budgeted revenues and expenditure for the financial year 2024-2025. During the year ended 30th June 2025, the county drew a total of Kenya shillings 9,476,895,181 from the county revenue fund against final revised budget of Kenya shillings 14,645,872,551. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, we have conducted a comprehensive examination on these annual financial statements, made key observations and concerns which we have addressed to the County Treasury. However, responses have not been provided to date, despite several follow-up attempts by the committee, including the additional 2 weeks granted by the House to enable receipt of the responses for completion of the assignment. Honorable Speaker, I take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to your office and the Office of the Clerk for the logistical support provided throughout the committee's work. I also extend gratitude to all committee members for their commitment and invaluable contribution during our engagements, the fiscal analysts and the technical staff for their diligent work in interpreting and synthesizing the financial information, offering deeper insights into the statements. Additionally, I acknowledge the Secretariat for their meticulous coordination and production of this comprehensive report. It is now my distinct privilege and honor to present this report of the committee on the consideration of county executive annual financial statements for the period ended 30th June 2025 for careful consideration. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, the committee dedicated considerable time and effort towards the examination and review of the county executive annual reports and financial statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2025. In undertaking this mandate, the committee convened a total of 5 meetings, during which members deliberated, interrogated, and scrutinized the accounts. Arising from its deliberations, the committee identified several material concerns and inconsistencies within the financial statements. These issues were formally communicated to the county treasury, and the letter was dated 6th October 2025, requesting clarification and submission of supporting documentation. Regrettably, the county treasury has not furnished the substantive responses to date, despite several correspondences from the committee, including reminder and invitation letters as outlined below. Honorable members, you can check Annex 2, and this is the first reminder, which is dated 6th October 2025. The county treasury responded through a letter which was dated 29th October 2025, and from the main report you can check Annex 3, in which the CECM for Finance requested an extension of time for submission of responses from the initial deadline of 13th October 2025 to 7th November 2025. However, the county treasury failed to honor its own revised deadline. As required, or as in our standing order, Honorable Speaker, we did an invitation letter, and following the failure by the county treasury to respond to the initial correspondence and to adhere to its self-set timeline, the committee resolved to invite the county treasury for a consultative engagement through the above referred letter. Subsequently, the county treasury responded, and the letter was dated 25th February 2026, and from the main report you can check Annex 5, requesting an extension of 5 working days from the scheduled meeting date of 26th February 2026, proposing to appear before the committee on 5th March 2026. However, the county treasury failed to appear before the committee as proposed. Instead, it submitted a new set of revised financial statements which are yet to be analyzed by the committee and which did not address the original issue previously raised. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, following unsuccessful attempts by the committee to obtain responses from the county treasury, the committee resolved to present a progress report to this House outlining its findings arising from the scrutiny of the county executive financial statements and requesting an extension of 2 weeks to enable it to receive the responses and finalize the report for presentation to the House. The progress report was considered by the House during its sitting held on Tuesday, 24th March 2026, during which the committee was granted additional 2 weeks to conclude the exercise. Regrettably, despite the follow-up efforts made by the committee after the House granted the extension, the county treasury still failed to honor the request for responses. To effectively interrogate these financial statements, the committee derived the following terms of references. 1, we have to examine the county executive annual report, financial statement for the compliance with the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and applicable accounting standards. 2, we have to assess the accuracy, completeness, and the reliability of financial disclosures. 3, we have to identify inconsistencies, variances, and unsupported balances within the statements. 4, we have to seek clarification from the county treasury on identified anomalies, and finally, to make appropriate recommendations to the assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, this chapter presents the committee's review of the county executive annual report and financial statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2025. The review focused on assessing financial performance, financial position, compliance with statutory reporting requirements, and credibility of the disclosures contained in the statements. Mr. Speaker, and honorable members, the committee has critically reviewed and analyzed the following statements under the county executive annual report and financial statements for the period ended 30th June 2025. 1, statement of financial performance. 2, statement of financial position. 3, statement of changes in net assets for the year ended 30th June 2025. 4, statements of cash flows. 5, comparison of budget and actual amounts or budget utilization, that is development and recurrent. 6, notes to the financial statements. 7, bank account balances, and finally, supporting schedule to the financial statements. And you can check with me under this table, statement of financial performance for the year ended 30th June 2025. We have revenue from non-exchange transaction. And under this, we have transfers from CRF. And this is in the main report, it is under note 6. Here we had a total of 9,265,998,957. And total still remains the same, which is 9,265,998,957. Under expenses, we have employee cost, and this falls under note 7 in the main report. Here we had 5,844,833,967. Use of goods and services under note 8, we had 2,682,026,575. Transfer to other government entities, this falls under note 9 in the main report. We had 481,235,270. Depreciation and amortization expense, this falls under note 10. And here we had 18,957,288. Other grants and subsidies, we had 76,675,000. And this falls under note 11 in the main report. We also have finance costs, which falls under note 12. We have 4,485,793. In total, we had 9,108,213,895. Same under this, we had gain or loss on sale of assets, which we had nothing. Again, gain or loss under foreign exchange, we had nothing. Gain or loss on fair value investment, we had nothing. Impairment loss, we had nothing. And we had a surplus in that year, which is 157,785,062. Taxation, we had nothing. And total under this still remains 157,785,062. Under this, we observed as a committee that the county government realized a total revenue amounting to Kenya shillings 9,263,998,957 against a total expenditure of Kenya shillings 9,108,213,895, resulting in a reported surplus of Kenya shillings 157,785,062 for the financial year under review. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, these are the committee observations, findings, and recommendations. Following a comprehensive review and interpretation of the County Executive Annual Financial Statements for the financial year 2024-2025, the committee identified and flagged several critical issues which were subsequently forwarded to the County Treasury for response and clarification. However, the County Treasury has failed to honor and respond to the queries raised by the committee, which has limited the committee's ability to conclusively report on this document. And you can check the matrix below, outlined committee observations and findings. Area and of concern, 1, cash and cash equivalents. And this is the issue which we raised as a committee. Cash balance is reported under cash flow statement at Kenya shillings 463,657,603. And at Kenya shillings 1,660,130,515 under the statement of financial position, giving a variance of Kenya shillings 1,196,472,912. As a committee, we wanted the department to explain this variance and amend the financial statements. And in the main report, honorable members, you can check page 2 and page 6. And if you check the table, I hope you are moving with me, there is no response from the department. Under trade and payables, legal dues, it is observed as follows. Legal dues brought forward are 2,682,735,076. Legal dues carried forward is 1,870,363,993. And there's a difference of Kenya shillings 812,371,083. As a committee, we wanted the department to provide a movement schedule showing opening balance, payment made during the year, and a new obligation, if any, and the closing balance. And this one is in page 2, under note 17. And if you check the column of responses, we had no response from the department. Under pending bills, it is observed as follows. Verified bills brought forward, it was 2,846,885,847. Carried forward, we had 4,597,593,790. We had an increase of 1,750,707,943. And here we wanted them to provide a schedule of the new very pending bills incurred in financial year 2024-2025, categorized into recurrent and development. And this you can check from the main report under note 17 in page 36. Here again, we didn't get any response at all. Under property, plant and equipment, the value of county land asset is reported at 19 million. And this you can check page 33 under note 15. We wanted them to provide valuous reports supporting the stated figure. And under this, we didn't get any response. B, the figure for office equipment, furniture and fittings has not been provided in PPE schedule. And we also wanted them to justify the omission and disclose the figure. Here, they didn't respond. C, under motor vehicles, only the value of additional motor vehicle of Kenya shillings 5,227,978 are listed in the PP schedule with no opening balance and disclosed. As a committee, we wanted them to explain the omission and provide the current value of all motor vehicles being owned by the county and supporting valuation reports. Here we also had nothing, they didn't respond. Under net cash flow from operating activities, there is a variance on the reported figure for net cash flows from the operating activities as reported on the statement of cash flows and notes to the FS. Cash flow statement, Kenya shillings 617,398,745. Figures provided under note 23, we had a Kenya shillings 1,142,915,533. We had a variance of 525,516,788. As a committee, we wanted them to justify the variance and reconcile the figures, further correctly label the note to the FS. And honorable members, this falls under page 6 and note 23, page 42 and 43. Under this, we also had no response. We again have notes arrangement. Explanatory note 7 has been misclassified as miscellaneous revenue, whereas it should be employee cost. And we wanted them to amend and properly number the notes. And this one you can check from the main report. And it is in page 28 under note 7. There was no response. Under accumulated surplus, honorable members, we have reported accumulated surplus of Kenya shillings 11,471,734 in the statement of financial position. We wanted them to provide an illustration reconciling the movements and adjustment leading to the reported accumulated surplus figure. You can check page 2. Here, we had no response at all. Under receivables from exchange transactions, according to them, their disclosure indicated that the receivables from the non-exchange transaction have increased as follows. The financial year 2023-2024, we had Kenya shillings 5,151,666. Financial year 2024-2025, we had Kenya shillings 32,987,989. Increase, we had a total of Kenya shillings 27,837,323. We also wanted them to provide annexures explaining the nature of the receivables, adjustments made, and collection status. And you can check note 14 in page 32. Here again, honorable members, there was no response. Under statement of changes in net, the item adjusted assets, and you can see, members, it is in quotes, adjusted assets of Kenya shillings 1,156,691,644 is included in the statement of the change in net assets without reference to notes. They explained nothing. And you can check page 5. Again, there was no response. Honorable members, under assets, we wanted them to provide notes explaining its computation and describe the nature of the adjustments. Here, we got nothing also. Under employee cost variance, the figure for employee cost is reported as Kenya shillings 5,467,519,414 under the final budget, whereas the same is reported at Kenya shillings 5,494,304,839 under the statement of cash flows, giving a variance of Kenya shillings 26,785,425. We wanted them to explain the variance and give the accurate figure for employee cost, and they did nothing about it. Honorable members, you can check page 6 and page 8. Under finance cost and variance, we wanted them to provide adequate explanatory notes for the Kenya shillings 50,044,818 budget for finance cost and justify its low utilization rate of 0.1%. And this one from the main report, you can check page 8. Regrettably, honorable members, here again, we receive no response at all. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, during consideration of the report of the Finance and ICT Committee on various financial statements that had already been overtaken by events, this Honorable House resolved that the committee should cease further review and interrogation of the financial statement that have already been audited by OAG, that's Auditor General, examined by the relevant oversight committee and considered by the House. The committee notes that the County Executive Annual Report and financial statements for the period ended 31st December 2025 have since been audited by the Office of the Auditor General, an audit opinion issued, and thereafter reviewed by the PICPAC, whose report has been tabled and considered by this Honorable House. The committee noted with concern the failure by the CECM for Finance, Economic Planning and ICT and the Chief Officer to honor committee invitations to submit the requisite information and documents as requested. The conduct undermines the constitutional oversight mandate of the County Assembly as provided under Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which vests the County Assembly with oversight over the County Executive Committee and any other county executive organs. Failure to comply with such directives without lawful justification amounts to misconduct and contempt of the Assembly. So, honorable members, honorable Speaker, honorable members, this is our recommendation as a committee, and you can refer to the main report, page 13, that appropriate administrative and legal action be taken against the CCM for Finance, Economic Planning and ICT, and the Chief Officer responsible for failure to honor committee invitations and failure to provide relevant information and documentation on the issues raised on scrutiny of the County Executive Annual Report and Financial Statement for the period ended 30th June 2025, contrary to the provisions of Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya, Section 18 of the County Governments Act 2012, and the County Assembly Powers and Privileges Act 2017. That this House approves that the Finance and ICT Committee ceases any further consideration of the County Executive Annual Report and Financial Statement for the period ended 30th June 2025 in line with the previous resolutions of this House. I hereby urge the honorable members to adopt this report with the recommendations herein, and may I call upon Honorable Rati Boyton to second. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Rati Boyton.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I arise just has been requested by my able chair to second this report. Honorable Speaker, this report has come to the floor of this House after 1 year. It was committed to the committee, and the committee has worked on it in a period of 12 months. And when this report was committed to us as a committee, we were given 21 days to give a report. Nevertheless, there was a progress report that was tabled in March on the same report. But again, Honorable Speaker, we realize that the financial statement that was committed to this House is a raw report, in contrary to the report that the PICPAC committee worked on, because the PICPAC committee worked on the same financial year's report, and they were being guided by the auditor report. This calls for the importance of getting responses from the county executive. What this committee could not do was to bring a final report, because it did not have any response from the CEC Finance and Economic Planning. The issues that they raised here, Honorable Speaker, are very fundamental. In fact, there are how many in total, if you look at this report? 14 issues. Those are areas of the concern, and these areas of concern are 14, and their issues are also properly outlined in this report. But regrettably, there was no response from the CEC Finance and Economic Planning, thereby leaving the committee with no option but to bring this type of half-baked report. But again, Honorable Speaker, has been recommended, as it is, that proper action be taken against the proprietor of failure of a final report to be brought in this house, and that is the CCM for Finance, Economic Planning, and ICT, including the chief officer of the same department. Honorable Speaker, if appropriate action, administrative action is taken against the mentioned officers, I believe the executive will know that this house is doing its oversight mandate as provided in the Constitution. Thereby, Honorable Speaker, I support the report. I support the recommendations. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I second.
Thank you, honorable members. A motion has been moved on a report by the Committee on Finance and ICT on their examination of the County Executive Annual Financial Statements for the period ended June 2025. And I propose to put a question that this motion is open for debate. The honorable member for Central Seme.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand here to support the report that has been brought by the Finance Committee, the progress report. This report is on the review and examination of the county executive financial statement for the period ended June 2025. Mr. Speaker, I have looked at the wording of this, that it says that interrogation of the annual statements, and at the same time, the committee has indicated that it has made unsuccessful attempts to invite the executive to come and make a few explanations. Mr. Speaker, I've looked at some of the areas of concern in our observation. My concern was on the trade payables and the legal dues. The legal dues that is brought forward is about 2.6 billion. I'll not read the whole figure. And then 1.8 billion was carried forward, and there was a variance of 812 million. This committee requested the department to provide a movement schedule showing the opening balance and the closing balance. And when you look at their comments, the department did not respond. It's nil. The issue of pending bill is a very serious issue in this county, because we all know that many times the projects may not be carried out in the best way because of the pending bills issue. So this is a very serious issue. And when the committee invited the department, they had various queries. There's verified bills that was brought forward was 2.8 billion. Then they carried forward 4.5 billion. Then when they look at the difference, it's a decrease, it's an increase of 1.5 billion. So the committee had requested the department to do a verification of that bills. And Mr. Speaker, there was no response from the department. Finally, Mr. Speaker, there was a concern from the committee on property, plant, and equipment. This same department had written that the property is valued at, the land property is valued at 19 million. Now the committee just wanted to see the valuer's report so that it could support the 19 million that they had indicated as the value of the land. And we can see there was no response. There was the value that was put on the office equipment and fittings. There was no, it was even, there's even the omission. They did not disclose the figure. The motor vehicle, the figure that was indicated was 5.2 million. And the committee had even requested them to explain. What am I trying to say, Mr. Speaker? What I'm trying to say is the Committee of Finance work hand in hand with the Department of ICT and Finance. And during our committee deliberations, the committee is encouraged to work with the Finance Department. Now here is a committee bringing a report and a progress report to come and tell this House that they made several attempts to invite the executive. Even in the readings, you can hear the first reminder was done in the 6th of October 2025. The response was done on the 29th of October. We all know the timelines when you write to the department and within how many days they're supposed to respond. And you can see the Treasury failed to honor the deadline. There was another request that was made, and then there's an extension, and several attempts that were made by the committee to the department. And Mr. Speaker, it shows that there's no working relations between this committee and the department. Because indeed, if they can bring a progress report with nil as their answers, Madam Speaker, that is so, sorry, Mr. Speaker. That is very unsuccessful attempts that is made by the committee. We've looked at the recommendations by the committee, Mr. Speaker, and if it is indeed these recommendations can be taken seriously, that there need to be an administrative action and a legal action that should be taken so that this work can be taken seriously. Mr. Speaker, oversight would be very smooth if we can work hand in hand. I urge the House to support the committee's motion. Thank you.
Yes, the Honorable Ruben Rakwach.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, also rise to give comments on the report which has just been read. Honorable Speaker, sometimes it is hard to give what is not there. And maybe something may be there, but it is a bad one. So when you give it out, it would mean you are maybe airing your dirty linen in the public. So if at all, the documents the committee was looking for were not given, it is either they are not there, but I know they cannot fail to be there, because they have those statements. So it is a clear indication that something is amiss at the Department of Finance. At the same time, Honorable Speaker, if the members of the committee themselves say that the statement was committed 1 year ago and they were given 21 days to report to the assembly. 1 year down the line, they bring a report with the nil responses. That one tells you that there is also a problem somewhere. Honorable Speaker, we have standing orders and we have powers of the committees and powers of this House, Honorable Speaker. When you invite a CEC member and he fails to turn up,
the standing order provides what should happen next. If he fails the second time, there is a provision in the same standing order. If he fails the third time, there is a provision. So as members, we have these standing orders. They were given to us. We should follow them and do act as per the powers that we are given. I think that CEC members should have even been arrested and brought and frog-marched to this assembly. If we have failed to do that because sometimes we want to be lenient to somebody because we fear them, then we should not come here and start lamenting, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I urge the Committee of Finance that they should follow the standing order and exercise the powers that are given to the committees, Honorable Speaker. If that one happens, then a repeat of the same will not occur, Honorable Speaker. 1 year is a long time. Otherwise, thank you.
The Honorable Tom Nyauke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Committee of Finance on this particular report that they have just read before us by the chair. And Mr. Speaker, to start with is the fact that the constitutional oversight mandate of the County Assembly is provided under Article 185, Section 3 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. And my colleague has just mentioned about our standing orders, which also gives us proper guidance and directions that we need to take during the period of time that we are undertaking our duties. And Mr. Speaker, looking at this report, there are quite a number of issues that have been brought forward. But when I'm going through them, I also ask myself questions whether indeed the committee did exhaust all the possible avenues before they could come up with this report. I am trying to live to the fact that I know that the fundamental questions that they were trying to raise to get an answer from the executive, whether through CCM or the whole department, are very fundamental elements and information that they surely, I really wonder why they were not able to be provided with those kind of information. Mr. Speaker, the committee tried, they have talked of one issue. If you just want to look at why I doubt whether there's some seriousness or not, particularly on the, I think the easiest one is about property, plant and equipment. Mr. Speaker, it is in the floor of this house that we have been always talking about the way on which we should be handling our plant, equipment, and even the land of our county, Mr. Speaker. But then you find that they are being given a report just indicating that the value of county land asset is reported at 19 million. Mr. Speaker, and the person giving this report is just writing 19 million Kenya shillings. No supportive documents, no valuer's report to support the same. Mr. Speaker, that is, I'm even wondering, because I don't think anybody with the proper mind can just throw a figure like that. Even if it is not just assembly, even if you are buying a land from just a local neighbor, they cannot just tell you my land is costing 5 million and then he goes home, lets you to pay. There must be supportive document to prove the same. Mr. Speaker, if you look at all these requests that they are requested to be provided with, what I can't understand is what is the proper reason why they could not avail these documents. And if you look at them, there are things that should be available. They should be having all these answers with them. But the question that begs to be understood is the reason why they were unable to respond to these particular questions. Mr. Speaker, I look at therefore the recommendation that they have given to us to have a look at, and that is that appropriate administrative and legal action be taken against the CCM for finance and economic planning and ICT, the chief officer responsible for the failure to honor committee invitations and failure to produce relevant information and documentation that they really required for further scrutiny. Mr. Speaker, we have got laid down procedures, and that one had been elaborated by my friend, my colleague, Honorable Ruben Rakwach, about the standing orders. In as much as we may approve this report, including looking at the observations and the recommendations, but going further, the next reports, the other coming reports, we must make sure as committees that we follow the laid down procedures as provided for in the standing orders, so that we don't leave a gap anywhere that you didn't really follow those required or laid down procedures. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support, but on a rider that going forward, we must follow the laid down procedures. Were they invited the first time, second time? Did we write for them, or whatever, even force them to come and attend? Later on, you may find that they only got one letter which requested them to come and they never came, and there's nothing else which came. So with that few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support with that rider. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representing persons with disability.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, going by the mood of this House, may I invite the mover to reply?
Once again, Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I want to take this opportunity to thank all the members who have debated in support of this report. But I want to correct my friend, Honorable Rati Boyton, who seconded the motion by saying that this report was committed to this committee 1 year ago. I want to inform this Honorable House that this report was tabled by the majority leader on the floor of the House on 10th September 2025, and it was committed to our committee the same day. So maybe I was informed that he lost his specs, and the one he was using today was not a good one. So he didn't see the dates properly. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all the members, Honorable Mildred Ajumbo, Honorable Akwach, Honorable Nyauke, for supporting the report. Honorable members, you know our work is to do oversight. But if the line department cannot cooperate, then we are frustrated as a committee. And I want to inform Honorable Nyauke that we followed all the procedures laid down in our standing order. We wrote to them. We did a reminder, the first one, the second. We even invited them, but they didn't honor our invites. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, as Finance Committee, from the report, you can see the frustration we have gone through. Even the other reports which are on the way coming, we are still going through the same process. We are frustrated as a committee, and we cannot do our work effectively due to cooperation from the line department. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I reply.
Thank you so much, honorable members. A motion was moved on a report by Finance and ICT Committee on their review and examination of the county executive annual financial statements for the period ended June 2025. A motion that was moved by the chair of the committee, seconded by the Honorable Boyton, debated by the honorable members, and now it's time for me to put a question for adoption. And honorable member, as many as of the opinion that we adopt the report on Finance and ICT Committee on their review and examination of the county executive annual financial statement for the period ended June 2025. As many as of the opinion say aye.
Aye.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. Thank you, members. The ayes have it. And the report by Finance and ICT Committee on the review and examination of the county executive annual financial statements for the period ended June 31st, 2025 has been adopted today, the 2nd of June 2025 at 15:49 hours. Honorable members are directed that this report and its recommendation reach the different offices that they have made the recommendations for further action. And we want to also direct that the Committee of Implementation follow up on implementation of the resolution of this committee as well as of the House. Thank you. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker and honorable members, there is no any other business to be transacted in the order paper.
Honorable member, we can be upstanding. Honorable members, this House stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 3rd June 2026 at 9 a.m.